What's up guys, Mike here, and today I'm going to be testing the Core Pace Pro 12 meter. I'm going to ride it on 24 meter lines. For those of you who don't know, I like to ride 24 meter lines on any kite bigger than 10 meters, and any kite smaller than 10 or smaller, I like to ride 22 meter lines. So I'm expecting this kite is going to loop well. I'm riding here at Dolphin Beach Hotel. I love this place. This is the only place in all of Cape Town on this stretch of beach with no road in between you and the beach. So definitely recommend staying at Dolphin Beach Hotel. The little plug there for my homies. Just a heads up, I am a core team rider. So this is affiliated content. And I did just grab this kite from my bigger kite shop here in Cape Town. So I do also sell gear. So this is in no way an unbiased review. But what I can tell you is you're going to see some real SURFR app data. So you can see how high I'm jumping down on the bottom left of the screen. So that'll be a pretty good indication of how good this kite is. Let's get it. Let's just start with a straight jump because there's people everywhere. Floaty, as one would expect from a 12 meter. 13.1 meters, 7.5 seconds air time as measured by the SURFR app. Ooh, there's a board. Hello! I'm gonna guess like 8 meters. 8.1. We need to go for it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah. 12 meter pace loops like a fucking dream, guys. 13.8 meters, effortless. Fucking effortless, mate. Ah, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Hold me downwinded me. Not the biggest loop, 9.6 meters, but it still caught me very well. Kind of fucked up the base where I looped the top. I called it past 12 o'clock on the takeoff. Not ideal, eh? But I must say that loop caught me so early, despite it being a shitty takeoff, that I'm feeling more confidence on this kite.
You guys asked me a bunch of great questions about this kite on Instagram, and I'm going to answer each of your questions later in the video, so stay tuned for that. The wind was sometimes quite strong on the first day. The meter had the wind at about 17 or 18 knots average and 22 to 25 on the gusts. And I honestly could have been fine on my 10 meters, so I don't think it was a fair day to assess the kite. So I took it for another session in lighter wind. But before I show you that, I want to talk about jumping high on big kites. Now you can jump pretty high on a small kite without great technique, no offense, but big kites are a different story. And if you don't know how to jump high on big kites, it's likely because you aren't loading up correctly. Now, loading up has to do with your body's momentum and the timing of your kite movement. And I'm thinking about teaching this to you using this water balloon as a metaphor. I think it's pretty cool. So if you want to watch my video teaching you how to jump high on big kites, then let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss it.
Alrighty, day 2. So the wind was quite strong the other day. Now it seems like it's gusting about 20 knots, averaging about 17 knots. And you guys asked me how the wind range is. So yeah, I came out here to do my homework and let you know. Because this is such a high quality kiting channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Because I know you guys appreciate good intel, and this is where you come to get it. Woohoo! Oh my fuck, guys, this 12 meters retardedly good. 12.7 meters. I'd say it's gusting like 22 knots. Maybe a bit less. I'll check the live one, but that's fucked up, guys. A 12 meter should not loop that well. Oh! I'm freaking out, bro. I'm freaking out. It's not gonna stop. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, see the AD. That wasn't even a good takeoff. And I seriously think if I just cranked the bar a bit harder, I could have landed that. Oh, how high was that? 7 meters. But you want to take off a couple meters, or like 2, because I penetrated the water, and that positively affects your jump height, in my experience. Wow. 9.4 meters. Okay guys, these loops, as you can see, are puss easy. But look, I mean, if you got a good takeoff, say if you got a great takeoff, you're gonna love this, guys. Okay, let's go for it. Oh man, so close. Almost had it at the fin.
Guys, how cool are those live jump heights in the video? Now I get those from the SURFR app, and you can make those little animations too. Just go to any jump in the app and you can generate a SURFR. The SURFR app has become the most popular way to measure your jumps and track your sessions. And you can get the app for free. I've put the link in the description below, and guys, I highly recommend it. It's super sick. Now to answer your questions. So you guys asked me questions about how it loops, how it compares to the XR, what the wind range is, and how it is for old school and air style. So let's jump into loops. How does a 12 meter pace loop compared to the XR? I would say that the 12 meter pace loops as well as a 9 meter XR8, I know, shocking, and as well as a 10 meter XR Pro. So it's incredible for loops. Does that mean you should get it for loops? I don't know. Let me give you some more info. How good do you need to be to loop it? Well, it depends. If you're talking about big loops like 10 meters plus, like the ones I'm doing, then you need to be pretty advanced. If you want to be doing like 6, 7, 8 meter high loops on it, I would say you need to be able to loop a 9 meter XR or a 10 meter Nexus or something like that. If you can't yet do that, then you shouldn't really be trying to loop this kite. And is this a kite for you to do your first loops on? Absolutely not. The best kites for doing your first loops on are small kites, anything up to an 8 meter XR or up to a 9 meter pace, maybe a 10 meter pace pro. Is it quick? Well, yes, it's super quick for a 12 meter, but it's still a 12 meter, so no, it's not really quick. Does a kite loop on the way up? Well, if you're doing 3 or 4 meter high loops, sure, you can loop it on the way up. But if you're doing really big loops like the ones I'm doing, then I'd recommend looping it at least 80% of the way up, maybe even 85% of the way up. For a good advanced, not elite rider, does it make sense to get the 12 meter Pace Pro or the 12 meter XR Pro? Look, when it comes to a 12 meter, 100% of the time, get the Pace Pro rather than the XR Pro. The XR Pro is still quite a slow kite. I think you're going to get just about the same performance out of it in terms of jumping, but it's way more sporty and way more fun, and it's the same price tag. So if you can afford to get a pro kite like the Alula models, get the 12 meter Pace Pro for sure. Is it a lot better than the XR8? Well, I would say the 12 Pace has the same power as an 11 meter XR8, but like I said, it loops as fast as a 9 meter XR8. So yes, it's a hell of a lot better. And if you're looking for a nice sporty big kite, fantastic option. How good is it for old school and air style? Look, I think it's amazing for that. That's exactly where I think this kite will excel. I mean, sure, it's a 12 meter that loops well, but does that mean you should get it so that you can loop it? For me, not really. I'm more excited about having something fun and sporty that I can work on tic-tac, sport-offs, rotations, working on my air style so I can bring that into my big air game on the smaller sizes. Now, I had a hell of a lot of fun doing air style on my 9 and 10 meter pace as well in Brazil recently. So yeah, I think it'll excel there. Wind range. How many knots do you need to be powered up? I started to feel powered up when it was about 16 knots average and about 21, maybe 22 knots on the gusts. That's when this kite really comes into its element. And I also had to ride this kite when it was 12 knots average and 16 on the gusts, and I had to ride upwind in those conditions, and that sucked. I just felt like there wasn't enough power to jump. So 16 knots and up, you start to have a good time. 21 knots or so on the gust, you start to have a good time. Now, what's the maximum wind that you can hold the kite in? Well, it depends on your riding level and the density of the wind. In cold, dense Cape Town winds, and as an advanced plus, not quite elite rider myself, I would say I can hold it in about 30 knot gusts. That's going to be a struggle, but it's still a good time for me. For an intermediate rider, somebody who's able to do some pretty big jumps, I would say probably like 26 knots on the gusts will be a good time. And for more beginner riders, probably like gusting up to about 23 knots, they're still going to enjoy it. I want to say thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me. And if you want to help me make more how-to videos, then you'll find the link to my Patreon in the description below. Otherwise, I made another video for you and I think you're going to love it. You can watch that one over here and you can subscribe over here. Muchos besos and adios.